Did she really just burn the final bridge? Or was this calculated destruction from day one? What just broke out of Montecito isn't merely another leaked memo. It is an absolute nuclear detonation right at the front gates of Buckingham Palace. While Prince Harry was left standing utterly alone, exposed on international television during his latest legal tailspin, Meghan Markle reportedly decided it was time to pull the curtain back on the crown's most closely guarded secrets once and for all. We're talking about covert diary entries, private royal correspondence, and bombshell allegations leaked directly to her favorite media megaphones, exposing everything from palace backroom deals to the private financial machinery of the monarchy. But here's the kicker. While Meghan drops these absolute dynamite revelations from the safety of her California sanctuary, where exactly does that leave Harry? He's isolated, facing the fallout solo in London, dodging cameras and multi-million-pound legal bills while his wife reportedly shapes the narrative from 3,000 miles away. Is this a tactical masterclass in self-preservation? Or did Meghan just deliver the ultimate betrayal to ensure her own brand survives the royal collapse? Strap in, because today we are breaking down every single line of these leaked secrets, the optics, the money, and the exact moment Harry realized he was standing on the front lines completely by himself. Let's be completely honest about what we are witnessing right now, because the sheer scale of this latest fallout is unlike anything the modern monarchy has ever had to navigate. The mask hasn't just slipped, it has been completely ripped off and thrown into the fire. For years, the official narrative pushed out of Montecito was one of unified defiance, a modern fairy tale couple standing shoulder to shoulder against an ancient, oppressive institution. But look at the actual reality on the ground this week. What we have is Prince Harry standing utterly exposed on the global stage, facing brutal cross-examinations, staggering legal costs, and the cold reality of a collapsing judicial crusade, while Meghan Markle unleashes a fresh wave of damaging royal secrets through her preferred media outlets. To truly understand how we arrived at this explosive turning point, you have to look at the track record and the long, turbulent history that built up to this exact moment of crisis. This isn't an isolated incident or a sudden misstep. This is the culmination of a systematic, highly calculated media strategy that has been executing in broad daylight for years. Remember when they promised the late Queen Elizabeth II that they would respect the sanctity of private family matters? Remember the solemn assurances given to King Charles III and Buckingham Palace during those frantic exit negotiations, that no one would brief the press or weaponize private family discussions for commercial leverage? Every single one of those promises has been systematically broken, recycled, and monetized. The bad reputation isn't just something created by critical tabloid headlines. It is documented in their own words, their own interviews, and their own strategic leaks. From the infamous Oprah sit-down to the multi-million-dollar Netflix docuseries, and the score-settling memoir Spare, a clear pattern of behavior emerged. But what makes this current wave of leaks so much more destructive is the timing and the sheer desperation behind it. While Harry has spent millions of pounds waging an obsessive crusade against the British press and the Home Office over his downgraded security status, Meghan has reportedly been keeping a detailed repository of sensitive royal secrets, private correspondence, and behind-the-scenes diary entries. Think about the sheer audacity of this dynamic. Harry is flying into London alone, attempting to convince the public and the courts that he is a victim of relentless media intrusion and severe security threats. Yet his own household appears to be operating as a primary source for the very media circus he claims to dread. One prominent royal commentator, to Bakery, didn't hold back when assessing the sheer irony of the situation, describing the entire spectacle as the work of an opportunistic operation that uses privacy as a shield when it suits them and a weapon when they need publicity. When you look at the footage of Harry navigating his recent public appearances, the contradiction becomes impossible to ignore. Here is a man who claims flashbulbs trigger intense trauma, yet he is seen charming photographers, playing to the lenses, and working the room like a seasoned Hollywood veteran when the cameras are serving his purpose. The hypocrisy is staggering, but the stakes have now shifted from mere public relations theater to high-stakes institutional damage. The latest leaked materials, funneled straight to outlets like People magazine, contain intimate details about private conversations involving King Charles, Queen Camilla, and Prince William. These aren't just harmless rumors about family friction. They are deliberate, surgical disclosures designed to frame Meghan as the innocent, mistreated victim while painting the royal family as cold, calculated, and hostile. The narrative being spun claims that Meghan was forced to take a back seat, that she was humiliated by palace politics, and that she had no choice but to let her side of the story be known to protect her own brand. Translating that PR spin into plain English reveals the true strategy at play. Whatever chaos, legal failure, or public backlash Harry encounters during his solo endeavors, Meghan's team is ensuring that she remains completely untainted by the fallout. She stayed 3,000 miles away in California, avoiding the toxic splash zone of Harry's court battles, while simultaneously dropping economic and emotional dynamite onto Buckingham Palace. It is a classic divide-and-conquer maneuver executed with terrifying precision. Look at how the palace has been forced to react to this relentless barrage. For months, King Charles and Queen Camilla have attempted to maintain a dignified silence, offering olive branches and holding private, highly managed meetings at Highgrove in hopes of finding some path toward family stability. But every time an olive branch is extended, it gets turned into fodder for the next exclusive cover story. Seasoned royal expert Tom Sykes pointed out that it was Harry and Meghan's own team that repeatedly fired the starting pistols on these public spectacles, making private reconciliation completely impossible. They announce dramatic travel plans, hint at emotional reunions, and then publicly pull back citing security concerns that haven't changed in years, effectively blaming the king for their own logistical and public relations blunders. The scandal deepens when you examine the sheer lavishness and financial pressure driving these moves behind the scenes. Behind the high-minded rhetoric about service, mental health, and philanthropy lies a staggering, burn-rate lifestyle that requires millions of dollars annually to sustain. Between a sprawling Montecito estate, a private security detail that costs an estimated £3 million a year, and legal bills mounting into the tens of millions, the financial walls are rapidly closing in. When top-tier commercial deals begin to stall and global interest wanes, what is the only guaranteed currency left to trade on? It is the dirty laundry of the British monarchy. This isn't just about family drama anymore. It is about commercial survival. Meghan sharing these damaging secrets isn't a lapse in judgment. It is a calculated release of capital. Every leaked detail about palace backroom discussions, every personal anecdote about Charles or William, serves as a fresh injection of publicity to keep the Sussex brand relevant in the American media ecosystem. But in doing so, she has left Harry entirely exposed on the front line. He is the one who has to face the High Court judges. He is the one taking the legal heat. He is the one sitting in courtroom galleries while his wife's camp ensures the media narrative favors her alone. And what about the nature of these leaked secrets themselves? The latest disclosures allegedly pull back the curtain on internal palace debates regarding security protocols, private financial arrangements, and personal health updates surrounding the senior royals. To leak information regarding a reigning monarch who is actively managing a serious health condition crosses a line that even seasoned royal watchers thought would never be breached. It shows a profound disregard for basic human decency, all wrapped up in the glossy language of personal empowerment and truth-telling. The public reaction across Britain and around the world has been swift, sharp, and overwhelmingly critical. The sentiment has shifted from curiosity to utter fatigue and growing outrage. People are asking how a couple that claimed they wanted a quiet, private life away from the spotlight has managed to generate more continuous, disruptive media noise than the entire working royal family combined. The contradictions are simply too vast to ignore. You cannot demand state-funded protection and absolute privacy, while simultaneously running a global media campaign designed to undermine the very institution that provides that status. As these leaked revelations continue to ripple through news outlets, the institutional strain on Buckingham Palace is reaching a boiling point. The palace finds itself caught in an unprecedented constitutional dilemma. A constitutional monarchy relies entirely on remaining above political and personal fray, maintaining a level of dignity and institutional neutrality. But when former senior members of the royal family are actively using major media outlets to launch targeted attacks, the palace's traditional strategy of never complain, never explain is tested to its absolute limit. Furthermore, the narrative surrounding their security demands has been completely dismantled by their own actions. Harry's seamless, unbothered travel through the UK proves that the dramatic claims of extreme danger were largely exaggerated to pressure the government into reinstating official protection. If a high-profile prince can land in London, attend major public events, meet with photographers, and depart without a single security breach or paparazzi chase, the entire foundational argument for his legal battles crumbles to dust. Yet, despite this obvious reality, the legal machine keeps grinding on, eating away at millions of pounds in legal fees while generating endless negative coverage. Harry now stands at a terrifying crossroads. He is isolated from his birth family, financially strained, and increasingly dependent on a media strategy orchestrated from across the Atlantic that seems entirely focused on preserving Meghan's reputation at the direct expense of his own. The narrative that they were an unbreakable team fighting against the world is fracturing under the weight of these leaks. While Harry fights losing battles in British courtrooms, Meghan is busily writing the next chapter of her narrative, making sure the world knows that she is moving forward, with or without him. The fallout from these leaked secrets is far from over, and as we look deeper into the private correspondence and hidden financial motives driving this war, the picture becomes even darker and more complex. The delicate balance between royal tradition, personal ambition, and raw financial desperation has created a perfect storm, and the damage being done right now will echo through the halls of Buckingham Palace for generations to come. The financial web surrounding Montecito right now is tangled, treacherous, and rapidly tightening around Prince Harry's neck. To understand why these damaging secrets are spilling into the press with such calculated precision, you have to follow the money, because when you strip away the polished talk about mental health, privacy, and personal empowerment, what you are left with is a staggering, high-stakes financial disaster. Let's look at the cold, hard numbers that the Sussex PR machine desperately tries to keep out of the spotlight. The legal fees accumulated from Harry's crusade against the British press, most notably his catastrophic loss against Associated Newspapers and the Daily Mail publisher, are estimated to be in the astronomical realm of £30 to £40 million. That is a crushing, soul-destroying fortune for anyone to owe, even a former senior royal. The publisher's legal team is now actively pursuing full cost recovery, meaning Harry is facing an immediate financial liability that could devastate his household reserves. And where are his wealthy celebrity allies when the bill collector comes knocking? Reports have circulated widely that megastars like Sir Elton John, who initially shared the legal stage alongside Harry, have made it explicitly clear that they will not be footing his share of the staggering legal tab. Harry is on the hook, completely exposed, holding a multi-million-pound bill for a case that legal experts warned him from day one was an uphill battle built on suspicion rather than concrete, admissible evidence. Add to that catastrophic legal debt, an annual private security apparatus that bleeds roughly £3 million out of their accounts every single year, and the broader financial picture turns terrifying. This isn't just about paying for a couple of bodyguards. This is a full-scale private intelligence, motorcade, and residential surveillance operation required to maintain their lavish lifestyle in California. For a household whose commercial revenue streams have reportedly stalled rather than expanded, with lucrative podcasting deals cancelled and streaming giants reassessing their ROI, a £3 million annual overhead is a ticking time bomb. This is precisely where the obsessive, almost frantic battle over RAVEC protection makes complete financial sense. RAVEC, the Royal and VIP Executive Committee, isn't just a British security team that greets you at Heathrow Airport. As intelligence and security experts have pointed out, once state-level RAVEC protection is officially granted, it follows the protected individual everywhere they travel across the globe. Think about what that actually means in plain English. If Prince Harry were to successfully lobby the Home Secretary and overturn the decision regarding his security status, the UK taxpayer would immediately take over the bill for his protection detail. Whether he is sitting in his Montecito mansion, flying to Invictus events in Birmingham, taking high-profile tours in Nigeria or Colombia, or traveling anywhere else on the planet, the massive multi-million-pound annual expense would disappear from his personal ledger and be permanently transferred onto the shoulders of the British public. It was never purely about a father protecting his children from imminent physical threat. It was simultaneously a calculated, multi-million-dollar financial strategy. Eradicating an exorbitant annual expense line by shifting it onto the public purse is a textbook move for a household managing a contracting budget under severe legal debt. But because the UK government and the High Court repeatedly held the line, maintaining that taxpayer-funded police protection cannot be bought or demanded on an a la carte basis by non-working royals, that multi-million-dollar burden remains squarely on Harry's shoulders. And who warned him about this exact scenario before the dramatic split ever took place? None other than his father, King Charles III. Before the ink was even dry on the Megxit arrangements, Charles directly questioned his son, asking if he had truly thought through the long-term financial and logistical realities of stepping away from the working monarchy. Charles explicitly warned him that state-funded security was tied directly to official public duty, not royal bloodlines, and that leaving the working structure meant forfeiting those guarantees. When Harry assumed his military status and global profile would automatically entitle him to permanent protection regardless, he made a catastrophic miscalculation. Even after the split, Charles reportedly funded Harry's security out of his own private pocket for a full year, shelling out an estimated £5 million to grant the couple a soft landing while they established their commercial deals. But as the endless demands for funds and the public attacks on the family continued, Charles finally drew a firm line in the sand with four iconic, devastating words: "I am not a bank." That moment signaled the end of the open-ended financial safety net. And it brings us directly to the dark, uncomfortable theory currently circulating among royal insiders regarding Harry's sudden, desperate push for family reconciliation. With Charles managing a serious health condition, the clock is ticking on the current era of the monarchy. Under Charles, there remains a faint, lingering thread of paternal warmth and potential discretionary generosity. But everyone in Montecito knows exactly what happens when Prince William ascends the throne. When William becomes king, the financial pipeline shuts down permanently. There will be no discretionary funds, no backroom allowances, no soft landings, and no second chances. William has watched his father be publicly vilified, his wife attacked, and the institution he is set to inherit relentlessly undermined for commercial gain. The rift between the brothers is so deep and so profound that William reportedly viewed Charles's recent private meeting with Harry as a grave mistake, fearing the Sussexes will only use any restored access to push for further concessions. Therefore, the only remaining financial windfall left on the horizon is the ultimate one: the inheritance. The sudden urgency to bring the children to Britain, the sudden willingness to submit to managed meetings at Highgrove alongside Queen Camilla, and the abrupt pivot toward wanting to fix the broken relationship map far more cleanly onto financial survival than pure, unadulterated sentiment. The Sussexes are looking at a future where William holds the keys to the Duchy of Cornwall and the Crown Estate, leaving Harry with zero leverage once his father passes. This financial pressure cooker explains why the media war has escalated into absolute nuclear territory this week. When the legal battles fail and the money is running out, the only viable asset left to trade on is damage. The leak to People magazine detailing the inner mechanics of the Highgrove meeting, claiming Meghan felt humiliated and blaming security issues for pulling the plug on a full family visit, was a calculated defensive maneuver. It was designed to keep the Sussex narrative alive in the US market, ensuring that Meghan remains the sympathetic center of the story, while Harry absorbs the devastating fallout of his failed legal battles in London. Look at the extraordinary media pattern that unfolded on the exact same day. While People magazine ran its cover story painting Meghan as the supportive, deeply saddened wife, the New York Times published a surprisingly detailed piece focusing on the ongoing rift between Harry and William. Both articles pushed a strikingly similar narrative: that Harry is actively trying to repair his relationship with his father, while the cold, unyielding Prince William remains the sole obstacle to total family peace. The subtle mechanics behind those media reports reveal who was actually pulling the strings. When major news outlets reached out for official statements regarding those stories, the responses were night and day. Harry's spokesperson issued a formal decline to comment, a strategic response that confirms direct contact was made, allowing off-the-record briefing to shape the tone of the article without leaving official fingerprints on the page. Kensington Palace, representing Prince William, issued a complete non-response. ignoring the inquiries entirely, signaling zero engagement with what they clearly recognized as a coordinated PR ambush. The New York Times does not routinely dive into the murky waters of royal family drama, unless a specific, highly orchestrated push brings the story to their editorial desk. The simultaneous appearance of sympathetic, Sussex-aligned narratives in two of the most influential publications in the world on the exact same day isn't organic journalism. It is managed, deliberate messaging. It was an aggressive effort to control the narrative, throw Prince William under the bus, and distract the public from the staggering legal defeat Harry had just suffered in the High Court. This entire sequence of events paints a horrifying picture of where Harry currently finds himself. He is a man caught between two unstoppable forces: an unyielding British legal system that has rejected his claims, and a relentless California PR machine operated by his own wife that consumes royal secrets for breakfast. While Meghan orchestrates cover stories from Montecito to ensure her personal brand remains pristine, Harry is left standing alone in the cold spotlight of public scrutiny, facing tens of millions in legal debts, alienated from his brother, and used as a pawn in a game where the stakes are nothing short of total financial and reputational survival. What makes this isolation so devastating is that the institutional doors at Buckingham Palace are not just closing. They are being bolted shut from the inside with concrete and steel. For years, the official line coming out of the palace was one of open-door reconciliation, a patient father waiting for his wandering son to return. But the fallout from this latest wave of leaked secrets has pushed the monarchy past its breaking point. Senior courtiers and intelligence advisors have reportedly advised King Charles that further private contact with the Sussexes poses an unmanageable security risk to the crown itself. Every private gesture of goodwill, every phone call, every confidential meeting at Highgrove is now viewed inside the palace as potential material for a future streaming docuseries, or an exclusive cover story in an American gloss magazine. The immediate consequence of this trust collapse is a complete freeze on all official and unofficial communications. When a monarch can no longer speak to his own son without Queen Camilla acting as a legal guardian in the room to prevent unauthorized promises from being made, the relationship is no longer a family dynamic. It is a hostile diplomatic standoff. Intelligence sources have quietly leaked that the palace's legal teams are actively preparing contingency strategies for when the inevitable next wave of disclosures hits the market. They are looking into non-disclosure options, title revocation mechanisms, and the complete stripping of any lingering royal patronages that Harry still holds onto like life preservers in a stormy sea. And the public backlash across the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth is reaching a boiling point that simply cannot be ignored by politicians or palace officials. Parliament members are facing mounting pressure from taxpayers who are thoroughly exhausted by the endless court cases, the public whining, and the audacious demands for state-funded protection. Backbench MPs have once again raised the issue of the removal of titles bill, a legislative mechanism that would grant Parliament the explicit power to strip royal titles from individuals who actively work to damage the reputation and constitutional standing of the United Kingdom. If that legislation moves forward, Harry and Meghan could find themselves stripped of their Duke and Duchess of Sussex titles, reduced to plain Mr. and Mrs. Mountbatten Windsor overnight. Imagine the absolute chaos that scenario would unleash on the Montecito brand strategy. Their entire commercial identity, their multi-million-dollar deals, their high society access, and their global prestige are built entirely on the glittering currency of those royal titles. Take away the titles and what is left? A couple of former reality-adjacent celebrities living in an overpriced mansion, burdened by tens of millions of pounds in legal debts, with no royal fairy dust left to monetize. It is a commercial nightmare that keeps their legal advisors awake at night. Yet every leaked secret, every media ambush, and every attack on Prince William brings that exact legislative outcome closer to becoming a terrifying reality. Meanwhile, the financial reckoning from these failed court battles is escalating into an existential crisis. Associated newspapers and the Daily Mail publisher are not simply asking for their legal fees to be reimbursed. They are mounting an aggressive, unyielding legal campaign to enforce immediate recovery. When a legal bill of £30 to £40 million comes due, courts do not accept promises of future Netflix shows or Spotify deals as collateral. They demand cold, hard cash or asset liquidations. Legal experts are openly speculating about what assets Harry might be forced to leverage or sell if a summary judgment forces immediate payment. Could the Montecito estate itself be put on the line? Could private trust funds established by the late Princess Diana and the Queen Mother be attached to satisfy court orders? The irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife. A prince who claimed he stepped back to protect his family's peace and privacy now faces total financial exposure because of an obsessive, misguided legal crusade against the press that his own advisors reportedly begged him not to pursue. And while Harry watches his financial world crumble under the weight of these legal liabilities, Meghan's team is busily constructing a public relations life raft for her alone. The leaked quotes to People magazine, emphasizing that Meghan always lets Harry lead on royal matters and framing her as a supportive yet distant bystander, are a textbook display of corporate risk containment. When a company is going under, the executives cut loose the failing division to save the core brand. In this case, Harry's royal crusade is the failing division, and Meghan is the core brand attempting an emergency pivot. The public reaction in America, the very market they staked their entire future on, has turned distinctly cold and cynical. The glossy Hollywood elite that once welcomed them with open arms has quietly backed away, weary of being dragged into toxic royal feuds that threaten their own relationships with the British establishment. High-profile producers, studio heads, and A-list celebrities recognize a sinking ship when they see one. Nobody in top-tier Hollywood wants to be associated with a brand that trades exclusively in family betrayal and bitter grievances, especially when those grievances no longer yield record-breaking viewership numbers. Look at the broader institutional damage this entire circus has inflicted on the constitutional fabric of the British monarchy. By launching bitter public attacks against high court judges, calling judicial decisions a whitewash, and railing against the elected government, Harry didn't just express personal frustration. He threatened the delicate constitutional balance that keeps the modern monarchy alive. The sovereign exists to unify the nation, standing strictly above political, judicial, and media disputes. When a king's son attacks the very judiciary that operates in the king's name, while simultaneously demanding to be housed in Buckingham Palace, it creates a constitutional hazard that borders on institutional sabotage. The palace's decision to quietly pull the plug on his accommodation was not a personal snub. It was a necessary act of institutional self-defense. Where does this leave Prince Harry as he sits in California, watching the wreckage of his public reputation unfold? He is a prince without a country, a royal without an institution, and a husband whose personal struggles are being converted into media fuel to keep a failing PR engine running. The tragic reality is that Harry seems to have traded one cage for another. He claimed he fled the royal fishbowl to escape media manipulation and controlling handlers, only to find himself trapped in a high-stakes American celebrity machine where his value is dictated entirely by how many royal secrets he is willing to spill. The tragic element of this story is the human cost buried beneath the commercial calculations and public relations warfare. You have an ailing king in the twilight of his life, facing serious health challenges, who wants nothing more than peace and a chance to know his young grandchildren. You have Prince William carrying the immense weight of the monarchy on his shoulders while supporting his family through their own personal health battles, completely unable to trust his only brother. And you have young children in California growing up entirely disconnected from their heritage, their family history, and their royal relatives, caught in the middle of a bitter, decades-long feud they had no part in creating. The narrative of the unbreakable Montecito alliance is shattering under the weight of these continuous leaks, staggering debts, and public miscalculations. As the legal bills mount, the commercial deals dry up, and the palace doors lock shut forever, the final chapter of this royal tragedy is being written not in the halls of Buckingham Palace, but in the cold, unyielding courtrooms of London, and the calculated cover stories of American gossip magazines. Harry thought he was fighting for his freedom and safety, but as he stands alone and exposed, he may finally realize that the price of his war was everything he truly had left to lose. So, where does all of this leave you as you watch this unprecedented royal train wreck unfold in real time? Is Meghan's strategic media distance a calculated move to protect her own brand, while leaving Harry to absorb the legal and financial fallout alone? Does the inheritance theory hold up as the true hidden driver behind this sudden, desperate push for family reconciliation? Or is this simply a broken family making one last, messy attempt to fix what was destroyed years ago? Drop your honest take in the comments below. Hit that like button to help this breakdown reach more viewers who want the full truth behind the headlines. And subscribe to the channel right now so you never miss the next breaking exposure of what is really happening behind palace doors. So, where does all of this actually leave you as you watch this unprecedented royal train wreck unfold in real time? Is Meghan's strategic media distance a masterclass in calculated self-preservation to shield her own brand, while leaving Harry to absorb the catastrophic legal and financial fallout entirely alone? Or do you believe there is still a genuine, human attempt underneath all the PR strategy to fix a family dynamic that's been utterly broken for years? Does the inheritance theory and the crushing weight of that £3 million annual security bill hold up as the true driver behind this sudden, desperate push for reconciliation? Or do you think the media is reading far too much cynicism into what is simply a father and son running out of time? I want to know your exact thoughts on this. Drop your honest take in the comments below. Let's get a real debate going in the community. If you found this investigative breakdown useful, and want the fuller picture rather than the sanitized version dressed up for magazine covers, hit that like button right now. It directly helps this channel keep reaching people who want real transparency. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you never miss our next breaking exposure of what is truly happening behind palace doors. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.